third series of Thomas the Tank Engine was the first series to have original ideas by Britt Allcroft and David Mitton. While still using some of the stories from the Reverend W. Awdry, they used a couple of their own ideas, like Henry's Forest, Trust Thomas, and other stories to be mentioned. After Ringo Starr left the scene as narrator, an actor named Michael Angelis became the UK narrator, while George Carlin remained as the US narrator. Like Series 2, this was continuing the adventures of Thomas and his friends, while introducing more new characters, like the City of Truro, who had a cameo, Dilly the Duck from Donald's Duck, the Chinese Dragon, Mavis the Diesel Engine, Flying Scotsman, even though he only got a tender cameo, Oliver the Great Western Engine, who a lot of people like Miss Oliver and Blossom really love, Toad the Brake Van, and of course, Bulgy the bad-tempered double-decker bus. I was first introduced to Series 3 by videocassettes, including Trust Thomas and other stories, and Thomas Percy and the Dragon and other stories. One thing I noticed from those videos that the narrations were really different. In those first two videocassettes, Michael Angelis did a very calm, soft narration, but in those video Buzz Buzz and other stories, he put a lot of energy into his narration. In fact, when he redid the narration for the previous episodes, he put a lot of energy into all those narrations. And that's still how he does it to this day. And of course he keeps that northern tone that Ringo Starr had in the previous series. That's pretty cool. Like I said, a lot of the episodes were written by Britt Allcroft and David Mitton, and from what I could tell, this was the series that Wilbur Awdry hated the most. I also heard that it was mostly because of the story Henry's Forest, like saying how trees shouldn't be planted so close to the line. And to be honest, I don't really get why Wilbur Awdry got so mad. I mean, it was just a few original ideas by Britt and David, so I don't really see the big deal in it. I really enjoyed them. I especially enjoyed Diesel Does It Again, when they reintroduced Diesel. In fact, that was one of my favourite stories from Series 3, including Thomas Percy and the Dragon, because of the dragon theme and bringing a bit of Asian-like tone to the music. And now that I'm older, I find it kind of cool that Henry loves trees a lot. That's kind of cool. And once again, Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell come back to do the music for this episode. And as always, they do the best music, including that Oliver theme from Escape. That's really epic. Plus, Bulgy the double-decker bus was the first villain we got who wasn't a steam engine or diesel. He was the first road villain we ever got, and I thought Donald's Duck was really funny. And we get a lot of memorable moments in it, like Percy's scarf, Gordon losing his dome, and Diesel doing it again. From what I've heard on Thomas Wiki, Flying Scotsman was supposed to have a bigger role in tender engines, but due to the budget, they couldn't do the rest of his model on time, so we just got the two tenders. And that was pretty cool seeing Flying Scotsman's two tenders. But now that I'm older, I think it would have been better if we saw Flying Scotsman properly. It would have been nicer to see the finished model. So overall, Series 3 is just as good as Series 1 and 2. I still enjoyed watching the episodes, and the original ideas that Britt and David came up with. If you're a Thomas fan, you're going to love the original episodes. But if you're not a fan of the original ideas and just love the Railway series stories, why would you be watching them in the first place? So my overall view, this was another great series of Thomas the Tank Engine. It still continues to be one of the most enjoyable series of the show.